Welcome to Office Hours 10 in ChinaX, and we're now in the second mini-series, ChinaX 2. And we have some news for people, I guess. There was a review, a really nice review, in Germ magazine.
Yes, Shannon Mead.
Shannon Mead. Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah,
It was very nice. We all read it, and we'll put it on the website. But some of you are contributing things to share. And what are you doing with that?
Under the courseware section, under the notes section, I think your fellow learners would really appreciate it.
Okay. We also had a mini survey of what people thought of the discussion forums, and basically they actually were spread across all range of possibilities. That they help people reach their objectives very well or very little.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes,
what can we say?
The qualitative answers were very helpful, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we will try our best to improve them.
Good. Now, remember that anecdote we did of Xian?
Yes.
So Xian is there playing chess, and news comes by messenger. And he reads the message and goes back to playing chess. And his chess mate says, so? News from the front, from battle? He said, yeah, my boys were victorious. And just no sign of emotion at all.
Yeah.
So we asked people to interpret that, right?
Yeah.
And what kinds of answers did we get?
We had three main answers, I would say. The first is that he is really in control of his emotions and very calm and detached. The second is that he is quite confident in his abilities and in his superiority.
And the superiority of his sons.
Right,
Like that.
and it's only natural.
Right.
And the third is a sort of fatalism.
What does fatalism mean?
Whether it's already predetermined in a way, whether it's a positive outcome or a negative outcome, it is going to be the way it is.
Oh, I see. So it's in a sense that Xian, why should he have any response?
Right.
It's just, this is what's happened. There's nothing he can do about it. It's a matter of acceptance.
Exactly.
I see. And so now we need to ask Tiffany what she thinks she would have answered.
Yes. I would probably go with the third response.
Fatalism,
yes.
You're sort of accepting the world as it is, not trying to, you can't change it anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe that's actually representative of the period, sort of where elites say, the world is as it is, I can't do anything about it.
Right.
Versus those people who say, we want to change the world.
Right.
Okay. We had this extraordinary discussion from people with the poem, right?
Yes.
And I was really, really impressed by this. Many of you asked if we could tell you more about poetry and Chinese poems. And we're going to. Actually, we have it planned. In the third mini course, which is very short, it'll only be around 4 sections long, we actually will have a whole section devoted to Chinese classical poetry. We're going to show you how to read it. We're going to show you how it's structured. And my hope was always that we actually could get people to write poems like that in English as well. I don't know if it will work, but we could try.
Last week we asked you to look at Candle Within a Curtain and ask you to relate it to the modules and what you learned from it. And I think we got a lot of really wonderful responses.
And we also had people who said, could you read it in Chinese?
We did.
Okay, so let's read it in Chinese, okay? 开关联引出
参差风艳霞
浮光如期待
凝滴乌垂花
Door opens, the curtain casts a shadow. The flame in the wind flickers back and forth. Drifting light illuminates the brocade sash. A congealed drop of wax stains hanging flowers. Very simple. But, I saw Professor Tian actually originally had contrasted this with a poem from much later.
Yes, the
The Song Dynasty poem. And I do a lot of work in the Song Dynasty, where we're always looking for the point. And this, in some sense, isn't about having a point, right? In any case, we had there were so many good responses, and the responses were so long that we don't have time actually to read them to the people. But could we mention the names of some people who have not contributed to the forum before, or whose posts we haven't talked about, who are new this time, who we did some really interesting comments. So we have SAW85 and Angkor 1.
And Olga Godleska.
And Bert T.
And Dugma.
And Lou Graham.
And Jerry Ha.
And CHNGHP. As we read through these, we thought they were interesting. They were diverse. You did not have a single interpretation. But in some ways, that's all right, with a poem to go in different ways.
Many of you made connections to Elton John's song, A Candle in the Wind.
So now Tiffany is going to sing Elton John's A Candle in the Wind.
No.
Yes, you are.
I don't actually know it.
You don't know it?
No. Professor Bowl will sing it.
I don't know it either.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Leah, and I work on the Poetry X team. And it seems to me that you live your life like a candle in the wind.
Ah.
And also to English Romanticism, Arnold's Dover Beach, Li Shanying's Le You Ren, and haikus and some Indian,
South Asian,
Buddhist,
wonderful
readings as well. So
thanks a lot. This week we open up a module on Buddhism.
Yes.
And so we will have seen, I think, that with this turn towards the self and self-realization, different ways in which the self understands the world, and next week with Buddhism is going to have a very different reaction to the self. It's also concerned with its salvation, and yet their notion of the self is very different. Well, we look forward to talking to you next week, and have a good week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.